Hello everyone, I am the White Angel and I am a conservative. So today I'm going to give you an update on my current political doctrines for this wonderful platform building, because conservatism in this country and in the world is weak. Weakness. I despise weakness, you spineless cowards. But anyway, I'm not going to give you the direct look at the screen this time because there was distortion on the screen and that's going to make that video hard to watch. So this is the updated political doctrines I've created. I'm trying to find a good angle here. I know, these are shitty cell phone videos. I live in an RV. I can't get a good internet connection to Wi-Fi. I am so on my computer. I'm so sorry. And I can't really upload videos from my computer for some reason because my smartphone doesn't like the formatting or whatever. I don't know. These computers sometimes are such dumb machines. Damn you, Bill Gates. You and your crappy invention. But anyway, without further ado, this is the update to sex conservatism as a political doctrine. It is still an alternative to marriage being one man and one woman, which is still unfair and arbitrary. I've also included the argument that same-sex couples were normal and common in the West before Christianity. Before Abrahamic law became a thing in the West, same-sex couples were very normal everywhere in the Western Hemisphere. In Greece and Rome, and just everywhere. There's even reason to believe that many of the Native Americans were accepting of it. It really is just something that came in. Homophobia is a result of the barbaric Abrahamic law. You can argue with me that all you want. I know this will probably make it hard for you to accept my platform. Forgive me, but it is truly what I believe. It is truly what I feel. I still believe in religious freedom, and if you want to practice Abrahamic law, you can. But you're not allowed to force it on anyone else. This is also still an alternative to LGBT pride in the sense of like the media representation of pride, where it's all drag queens and lewd acts in public. The kind of stuff you see at the pride parade sometimes. It's religious zealotry and pseudoscience of the... LGBT pride is one-dimensional, and it's still perverse queer culture at pride events, drag queens and BDSM and the like. This is still an alternative to ex-gay, religious zealotry, and pseudoscience, and it rejects queer culture, which is kinky and immoral, and corrupts children into perverts. Desmond is amazing. Queen Lactatia. Like, dear God. Lactating is the state of breasts creating milk, which happens after pregnancy, and pregnancy is the fruit of sex. It's totally sexual. And it's a little kid's nickname. Dear God, what's sick people. God. You're the reason why people can conflate us in the LGBT with pedophilia. You make it so easy for them. God, you sick fucks. Come on. But tenants. I've changed it to mean appropriate dress. I realize traditional dress might have come off as a little too prudish. I accept the fact that you don't necessarily have to dress any one way so long as it's just appropriate. As long as it's appropriate. You say, could men dress in skirts? Well, what's a kilt? Joking aside, what is a kilt? You know, I don't think there's necessarily anything too terribly inappropriate with a man wearing a skirt, but it is still very confusing. It's still very confusing. I think men should wear pants. It isn't like a serious violation if a man wears a skirt, but he should wear pants. Seriously. Don't wear skirts. Unless it's a kilt, and maybe you can go with that. You know. But, so men in traditional men's clothes, or at least something decent. Because dressing well prevents unwanted attention to bare skin and solidifies the difference between male and female. That is how I would argue for that. It prevents unwanted attention to bare skin. Because, contrary to popular belief, you know, showing bare skin, they're not, you know, it's not necessarily on them. It's also on you for drawing that attention. If you understand how attention works, it's not always conscious or deliberate, and frequently isn't. Like looking at a car crash. If you see a car crash, it's like your mind is somehow compelling you so you can't look away. It's kind of the same thing. When something draws your attention, it is not necessarily conscious, it's often subconscious. Same for women in traditional women's clothes, or at least something decent. You can dress in a shirt and pants. I don't think anyone's going to take a serious issue with that. Go ahead and dress in a shirt and pants. Whatever you could want, as long as it's not too revealing. Go into your lesbian tank top. That's all cool. Because dressing well prevents unwanted attention to bare skin, solidifies the difference between male and female. Now, no cross-dressing or drag outside of designated spaces such as bars and clubs, and no drag for children, 18 plus, period. Because drag is inherently sexual activity, i.e. men dressing like women and simulating secondary sex characteristics, i.e. like fake boobs, characteristics, and making sexual displays. Traditional conduct, natural speech and body language, like the gay voice and shit like that, or just anything that would be considered part of queer culture. It should be rejected wholly. We promote monogamy, traditional courtship or dating, because society needs to maintain social norms to prevent immorality. It goes a long way to help prevent immorality when you establish a norm to stick to, some standard that you can hold to. Now, public decency. Sex acts remain in the bedroom. Hand-holding is okay because expressing love is not always convenient. You don't always have a private space to do it in, people. So, some things in public are totally okay. It's okay to do kissing. Kissing, hugging, hand-holding, looking each other in the eye, all that good stuff. Like, if anyone has a problem with it, you take it somewhere else or tell them off, whatever is appropriate to the situation. There's lots of different ways you can handle that. My hand's shaking. Damn it. I'll have to upgrade these videos at some point. I'll have to do that. No lewd public displays, nothing like too grotesque. No BDSM, especially in public, because personal public conduct affects people's perception of you. It makes you look like everything they accuse you of, or makes you look bad. And it also reflects poorly on the rest of us, because public displays can offend and cause conflict as well. People can be offended by it, and that can create conflict and tension. We need distension, and we need to be accordant with one another. Now, self-love is still there, which is never give into bigotry or hate. Never give in to the narrative that they have about you. Never give up on yourself, because giving in is emotionally harmful. Absolutely is. I've been bullied and harassed several times for various reasons and throughout my entire lifetime, even for my lovely pinkish skin sometimes. It really is harmful when you give in to them. Gather together. Make sure to have friends and family who back you up. Have someone out there, because having allies helps. Remind yourself of what you love about yourself, because self-love can protect you from depression and self-loathing. Stand your ground. Never be the aggressor, because making the first move makes you the attacker. Defend yourself without seriously harming others, because harming others seriously is wrong. Guard yourself against bigots and perverts by expressing disgust for their action while showing respect and love toward their humanity, because being the bigger person prevents immoral actions from spreading. Ask them, why do you hate me? Because it diffuses tension. Stand your ground, because you have the right to defend yourself. Civic duties. Homosexual couples reproduce. Homosexual couples. Heterosexual couples reproduce. I need to learn how to read, because being below replacement level reproduction leads to depopulation. Remaining out of the way of homosexual couples' progress, because getting involved in other people's problems makes it worse, especially if you're ignorant. Educate yourself and others on issues, because ignorance can be harmful. Adoption, because abandoned children deserve love. As gushy as that sounds, it is so true. Homosexual couples, adoption, because abandoned children deserve love. Educate yourself and others on issues, because ignorance can be dangerous. Only too true. Support of heterosexual neighbors and relatives, because showing support for others makes community grow close. Protest and marching conduct, no violence if it can be avoided. Precise messaging on white cardstock. There can be no ambiguity about the message. Educate people on issues, ignore unreasonable people, because if they can't be talked to and won't listen, to ignore them. Respond to bigotry with love and respect, and sometimes humor. Now, here is the Reformed conservatism political doctrine. Values. We value personal honor, keeping a moral standard and earning your place. You set a standard for yourself and you stick to it. And if you fail on occasion, make your apology, make the rounds, and get back to where you were. And of course, earn your place. Don't just assign yourself to a position. Earn it. Earn it. Critical thought. Evaluate and reevaluate values and ideas to reaffirm them. We need critical thought. We need to ask questions and not make assumptions. We need to evaluate and reevaluate our values just to make sure they're the right ones to have. Family values, constructing a cohesive family unit of either one man and one woman, or two men or two women, with biological or adopted children. Two parents, not one, two. Single dads and single moms need to get partners. Use the dating services, use apps, use something. Compromise with societal norms, be harmonious with society. You do not have to agree with society on everything, but compromise to avoid conflict with society. Hard work and self-determination. You were entitled to nothing in life. Because think about it. If you're out in the wilderness, are you going to shout at the skies like, I deserve free food? No, you have to hunt for it. That is life. You earn your keep and fight to make changes when things aren't right or fair. And it's okay to maybe have a safety net like a UBI style thing. If you have a UBI type phenomenon, that can be okay depending on how you go about it. If it's just a safety net for people who are struggling. Getting government assistance is no crime. Peace. Violence and war is tragic and ends human lives and creates huge amounts of suffering. Compassion. Caring for the pain and hardship of others heals wounds and keeps society healthy. Tenets. Austrian economics ? Because Keynesianism creates artificial bubbles, which as soon as they collapse, everything goes back to being as bad as it was before, sometimes worse. You know, Keynesianism is dangerous, but I have to ask, is Austrian economics really the correct alternative? I know a lot about Austrian economics, but I certainly don't know everything. But that's it for now. It's a question mark. The non-aggression principle, the NAP. Essentially, as long as you are not harming anyone else, do whatever we want within reason. Innocent until proven guilty, because the opposite is always persecutive and always damaging and dangerous. It can lead to all kinds of legal corruption. Civic nationalism. That is to say, a national border, a nation, a people, a solidified people, but with civic rights in mind. And the civic rights themselves. Civic rights being your right, the right that you ought to do. The First Amendment, because you ought to speak out against the government when it is corrupt. You ought to speak freely. The Second Amendment, because you ought to defend yourself and you ought to defend others. This is an idea I got from the wonderful YouTuber Razor Fist. Very edgy, not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. The Constitution itself, particularly the Bill of Rights, because that is a powerful tool for preventing tyranny. We emphasize Western civilization and culture, innovation, freedom of religion, tolerance of the tolerable, while intolerance of the intolerable. If it's wrong, you do not put up with it. And if you're not hurting anyone, if you're following the NAP, then it's all good in the hood. Fair and equal justice. Everybody gets what's coming to them, and it is fair. It is not arbitrary or cruel. Respect for the triumphs of good and respect for the triumphs and good morals of other cultures. Fair criticism for the failures and poor morals of other cultures. So there you go. That is the current doctrines. That is what I'm talking about. You know, it's still a work in progress. I'm still getting there. But I really do think that my platform is going to be great. It is going to be awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the Reformation.